going to talk today. So we're going to talk today about setting up an archery range. And again, this is a range for any any organizations that are looking at starting an archery program. So I am basing this around youth because that's what I teach, but this can be any target archery program. So, and all this information can be found on USA Archery's website. So really, if you look at the USA Archery Club handbook, all this information's in there, and actually it's really great. And I'll be showing some screenshots, but that's where all this information is from. So I'm just sharing this information as somebody who has just started putting together some youth archery programs in my area, working with my local archery club, where they have adult leagues and things like that, but they really don't have anything for youth or beginning archery for anybody, adults, youth, what have you, that want to get involved in archery or learn more about it. So I went through, have been certified, done the instruction, so I'm currently a level 2 instructor. But how do you get started? Like, what do we need? What do we do? Obviously, we need equipment. What kind of equipment do we need? I need arrows. I need a place to shoot. Where do I shoot? How do I even set this stuff up? So that's where we're going to start right now. We're going to start with our range, if you will. So before we get into equipment, we're going to assume that the equipment that we're going to use is going to be lower poundage type equipment that is more universal. So rather low poundage recurves, or probably one of the most popular bows for anybody who's starting out are the Genesis bows, which are used in the National Archery in the Schools program, NASP. I know there's a lot of programs out there that use them. So, and I really like those. They kind of look like a compound, right? They got wheels on them and stuff, but they're infinite draw. So, there's no let off on them or anything like that. They work out really, really well for people just learning and getting into the sport. But, so, low poundage type equipment. Great, got that. So, I need a space. How much space do I need to set up at? I've used a variety of different spaces. We've shot under a pavilion, which is I think the one we're shooting under is 30 by 60 is where we shoot. I've used horseshoe pits. Actually, the horseshoe markers tend to be about a pretty good distance away when the kids get a little bit better and actually understand what they're doing. So I use horseshoe pits, if you will, or that area. I have another area where I run some instruction that is kind of down a hill, so I have a nice backstop. I have a hill behind it, so if we overshoot or miss a target, right, you're shooting into a hill, which is fantastic. So, but you really want to make sure that you set up, no matter what, right, in a place where nobody or no thing really is going to be able to come in from the sides or from behind the targets in the direction which you're shooting, that someone can get hurt. Not saying it's likely, but you are dealing with, again, these are new people and they don't know what they don't know. So, and I know it seems intuitive that, you just pick up a bow and you know what you're doing. It's absolutely amazing. That is not intuitive for a lot of folks out there, and that's okay, and that's why we do this. So we need some sort of a space, right, that we know we can shoot safely in, which is great. So I want either a hill behind my targets, or I need a big open space behind my targets, and USA Archery wants 150 foot behind your targets for a safety zone if it's clear, if there's nothing back there. Or you can get They do actually have archery safety curtains that you can purchase, and those are usually set about a foot behind your target. So in my case, when we're shooting under the pavilion, we set it up in such a way that I have my safety curtain is hung kind of close to the back, so I get the most room, right? So I'm hung from the ceiling, my safety curtain, and about a foot or so in front of that are my targets, and then about 20 feet in front of that are my shooting line. So it's about where we're shooting from, and then I give myself about another 15, 20 feet, if you so, from the shooting line to what we call, the USA Archery calls it the waiting line, and that's where your other shooters or other people are waiting, right? They're not the ones who are shooting at that point in time. So I typically start shooting, we start instruction about 5 to 7 yards away. And for a lot of people, you're going to say 5. I mean, I can almost reach out and touch the target. It seems like that, right? You're 20 feet-ish, right? You're not very far away at all. And that's okay. Because, again, a lot of new archers, a lot of new shooters, right? They at least want to hit the target. We at least want them to hit the target. Because when we start out with our instruction, like for me, I'm starting out with what's my body position? Where are my feet? Right? Where are my shoulders? How am I drawing my bow? I'm not even talking about aiming yet. And I'm really not that much into release. I mean, we talk a little bit about release and all that, but when we originally start out, a lot of it has to do with your body. Where are your feet? That's a big one. Where are your hips? Which way are your shoulders pointing? So that's really a lot where we start with. And really got to beat that into them, because you will have new archers, especially kids, they'll be standing wrong foot forward. A lot of them don't know what hand they are. So, again, are they right-handed or the left-handed? Eye dominance, got to work through that. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. And you're just trying to figure out where are we starting from. But we want to be, no matter what, right, we want to be as safe as possible. So behind the targets, we want something that will either stop an arrow, or if an arrow is going to go past the target, and not be stopped immediately by either a hillside or some sort of berm, or our curtain, that we have enough space that the arrow is going to go and just die out, right, and fall into the field, and no one's going to get hurt. Additionally to that, right, our sides. So, because unfortunately the kids get talking sometimes, and they will turn. they will turn whichever way they look. So, it's good to have a lot of helpers to try to keep arrows pointing downrange. But you want to be set up in such a way that if, God forbid, one kind of turns a little bit and the arrow goes, that there's no one off to our sides either of our lanes where we're shooting, that anybody could get hurt. Another one that isn't talked about a lot, at least I don't think it's talked about a lot, is when they go to draw a bow. So it's having the poundage low enough that they can draw it back, right, comfortably, and not point it way towards the sky and pull it down. I see that a lot, and not with just inexperienced archers. I mean, you watch enough archery stuff on the internet, and even some of these are pro shops that are out there, and some of our big archery influencers, when I watch them draw in a lot of their videos, they start up here and they draw and they come down. I do not like that. Do not like that at all. And the reason being is because, again, if they're drawing and they're pointing towards the sky and that arrow goes for whatever reason, well, your berm isn't doing any good. Because you're shooting up and over it, or who knows what's on the other side of it. Again, you're shooting indoors, now you got an arrow stuck in your ceiling, those kinds of things. And even with 150 foot, depends on what they're pulling, I mean, an arrow can go. So I really work with them on getting back and coming back, and always keeping their control pointing downrange. And a lot of times that means, they got to turn the poundage down, or they can't pull back, what they think they can or what they want to. Really have that challenge with with young men, young boys in particular, right? They could pull it back easily. Oh, I need to turn the poundage up because I can pull my bow back too easily. Oh my goodness. Yeah, deal with that quite a bit. So that's just one of the things that isn't talked about, I don't think, enough, about having, I'll call it having control actually of your bow, so that your arrow is always pointing in the direction that you want it to go. So if it accidentally goes, it's at least going down the range where it needs to go and not off to the side, not up and over anything, not who knows where in the sky. It's going and traveling in a safe direction. So that's one of the big things. So if you do look up the USA Archery Club Handbook, all this information is in there. It's fantastic information. They have everything you need, from how to get your instruction and certification, how to set up a club. Everything that you need to know is in this handbook. So